of the Nexus Strategist training series. Today we are diving into SAM in the cloud and virtual era, specifically establishing the modern SAM foundations required for cloud-first organizations. This is a professional training session designed specifically for IT asset management teams and IT managers. We have a packed 45 minutes ahead of us, focusing on three core objectives. First, we will understand SAM evolution, looking at how software asset management has transformed from traditional on-premise to cloud-native approaches. Second, we will clarify SAM, ITAM, and FinOps to help you clearly distinguish between these different asset management frameworks and their respective corporate roles. And finally, we will identify cloud SAM risks, helping your team recognize the key challenges and compliance risks inherent in modern cloud software asset management. Let's get started.
Moving into part 2 of our session, let's trace the SAM evolution journey to see how our infrastructure has shifted. We started in the classic on-premise era, which was defined by static traditional license management. We then moved into virtual environments, which introduced complexity but still allowed for VM-based tracking. Today we live in the world of cloud and SaaS, which is governed entirely by dynamic consumption. This rapid evolution is precisely why traditional SAM brings. There are three major reasons for this breakdown. First, install-based tracking fails, which simply doesn't work for cloud-native applications and containerized environments where software isn't permanently attached to a single piece of hardware. Second, vendor telemetry dominates audits. Cloud providers now tightly control usage data, making it incredibly difficult for organizations to maintain independent compliance verification. There you have the telemetry block. Finally, we must contend with dynamic resource allocation. Autoscaling and ephemeral resources spin up and down in seconds, creating massive tracking challenges for traditional asset management approaches that expect assets to remain static. To manage a modern estate, we must shift our entire approach. To manage this complexity, organizations have stood up multiple disciplines, but a lack of clarity around roles frequently creates operational chaos. Let's establish a definitive taxonomy for ITAM, SAM, and FinOps. Think of IT asset management as your macro-level foundation focused on asset visibility. ITAM's job is to maintain the comprehensive registry of truth for every asset across the entire enterprise stack, spanning both hardware and software. It tracks the life cycle from the moment a request is approved in procurement to the day hardware is disposed of and recycled. If you don't know what physical or virtual infrastructure you have, you cannot manage anything else. SAM is a highly specialized discipline built on top of ITAM, focusing specifically on license compliance and optimization. SAM doesn't just look at whether a piece of software exists, it reads the complex legal contracts, product terms, and use rights tied to that software. SAM handles entitlement management, audit defense preparation, and strategic cost optimization by ensuring you aren't buying new licenses when you have shelfware or underutilized entitlements available elsewhere in the business. FinOps is the newest discipline on the block, born out of the cloud-native ecosystem with a strict mandate for cost optimization of public cloud infrastructure spend like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. FinOps monitors real-time resource utilization, manages cloud reservation models, builds forecasting algorithms, and sets up corporate charge back or show back mechanisms. So engineering teams see the direct financial impact of their code. The common point of failure is when FinOps and SAM operate in silos. FinOps might optimize a cloud instance from a 16-core machine down to an 8-core machine to save infrastructure pennies, completely unaware that the software running on it is licensed under a non-negotiable under the 16-core contract, completely wiping out the savings. This intersection is governed by cloud SAM encodability and the shared responsibility model. When you migrate to the cloud, AWS or Azure will explicitly tell you that they are responsible for the security, availability, and optimization of the cloud infrastructure. However, the management, compliance, and financial liability of the software and data you bring into that cloud rests entirely on the customer. If you deploy in this licensed database inside a cloud environment, your cloud provider will not protect you. The compliance liability is 100% yours. To wrap up our session, let's look at how we transition from theory to operational execution. Let's address the three primary obstacles we must engineer against: asterisk, dynamic assets. As we've established, the ephemeral nature of auto-scaling resources shatters traditional reporting time discovery inventory audits. Asterisk subscription sprawl. This is the silent killer of modern corporate budgets. Because SaaS tools are incredibly easy to procure, individual departments, project managers, or engineering teams buy specialized project management tools, AI tools, or development plugins directly on corporate credit cards. This bypasses IT, security, and procurement, resulting in massive cost overruns and duplicates across the company. Asterisk multi-cloud estates. Most modern enterprises don't use just one cloud. Managing an environment that spans AWS, Azure, and independent SaaS vendors means your teams have to navigate completely disparate billing structures, licensing rules, and portal metrics simultaneously, leading to severe fragmentation. To these challenges, your strategic roadmap must include three core best practices. Asterisks first, enforce a central SaaS intake process. This does not mean creating a bureaucratic bottleneck that slows the business down. It means implementing an automated streamlined gateway. Any new software subscription must be verified against existing corporate contracts before it can be charged. Asterisk second, replace engine jobs with continuous reconciliation. In the cloud, waiting 12 months to audit the software consumption is a multi-million-dollar gamble. You need automated API-driven tracking that continuously aligns active consumption data with contract entitlements. You must explicitly assign dedicated SAM managers who own the governance framework, interface directly with FinOps and DevOps teams, and maintain accountability for license risk mitigation. Ultimately, I want to leave you with these three gating rules as you step back into your operational roles. 1. Cloud SAM is continuous. It is a real-time operational discipline, not a reactive compliance project. 2. Consumption outweighs ownership. In the legacy world, value was tied to what assets you owned or paid. In the cloud world, financial optimization is tied to what you actively consume and what you actively waste.
3. Governance enables agility. Good governance is not a brake pedal.
It is the guardrails on our racetrack. By building clear visibility and automated compliance boundaries, you give your development and engineering teams the freedom to scale fast and innovate, confident that they aren't creating unbudgeted financial or legal liabilities for the enterprise. Thank you for your time today.